What's up, Hype fam? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of What's the Hype podcast. It's your host, Jeff Pope.
I'm your co-host, Andre Hal.
And we're so excited. We got a treat for you as we dive into part 2 of our interview with Glover Quin. We'll discuss NFL contract, managing money, navigating new teams, and what it took for him to be in position to retire when he felt the time was right. Guarantee you'll enjoy it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Welcome to another episode of What's the Hype podcast.
The building. And an interception, and you're not down by 10 anymore. Andre Hal, his second interception.
To get you the information that you need to start your own business and do your own thing.
And I felt like it gave me a good perspective.
I was not the first person to go through what I went through.
Just kind of talk about a little bit of, I guess, the conversation that happened with the transition from, the cornerback until what the conversation was like moving to the safety position.
Well, honestly, man, it really wasn't a conversation. Like, I had heard about it, and after my second year, we went into the lockout. But the defensive staff with the Houston Texans had got fired, and they hired Wade Phillips. And so when Wade got the job, that's when I started hearing, hey, man, Wade's going to want you to play safety because Wade likes cover safeties. He liked little cover corners. You're not a cover corner, but you can cover as a safety. So they was like, hey, Wade's going to move you to safety. And I still don't remember ever really getting an official call from Wade like, hey, we're going to move you to safety. It was just when I showed up and I was talking to the DB coach, he gave me the book. He said, start learning the safety position. I was like, okay. So that's kind of how that happened. It really wasn't a big conversation about it. And like I said, we were in the lockout. So I just had a playbook and I was just studying it trying to learn a different defense. And, that was about it, man. It wasn't anything spectacular. I showed up after the lockout, and we go through training camp, and I'm playing safety. Just like that. It was totally different position, totally different view, but had to figure it out, man.
Dre, he was just speaking on just like the position change. Kind of from your perspective, kind of what happened with you and that whole transition that happened for you as well.
Yeah, so I came in playing corner. Had a one bad game, one really bad game against the Philadelphia Eagles. I was guarding Macklin, and a lot of guys got hurt. Like I think Kareem was down that game. I think JJ might have been down. So I was actually starting. I was like, whoa! I came from on the bench, just playing first team to become the starter. So I'm like, whoa! Let me get right now because in the league, man, you're not expecting just to become a starter. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you can't. It happened. It happened all the time.
Yeah. And
I wouldn't mentally prepare for that. And after that game, I never was like unmentally prepared. Like I was ready to play every game. But that game kind of taught me a lesson that you got to be prepared all the time.
Right.
After that game, I know I had a bad game. Talked to the coach, he's like, yeah, you got to do better now. Like you're right. So the next year, we had a couple safety guys. They had cut. They let DJ Swearinger go. They let DJ go, and they let. I think D-Man was there, but I think he might have retired. I don't know what happened with D-Man, but just we had no safeties really. So they're like, "Can you play safety? Can you play?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can play." Like, why not? Because like I said, I always I knew to play with like back of my hand, even as a rookie. Like that's what I would do. Like football was my thing. So
right.
I made sure I knew the whole playbook, and they asked me like, "Yeah, I can do it." And first day of practice, when I did, I played safety. They're like, "Okay, you probably can do it." And then they kind of didn't really believe in me, because I still wouldn't start and I wouldn't have started. But it came to one game we were playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I was the backup safety to Raheem Moore at the time, and he wasn't playing well. And then I was like, we can't really do this. So Q Dimps, Q Dimps, Quentin Dimps, he was there, and Q Dimps, he a baller, man. So he was on the field, and he was hurt that game too. So I had to play. So my first start was against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I go out there and catch 2 picks to get a pick 6 in my first start.
That's great.
I'm like, whoa, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, damn, I finally got an opportunity to play, and I finally got an opportunity to show y'all what I can do. Because I was doing it the whole time. Like, I'm out there in practice balling out. But they didn't think it would translate to the football field, but it did.
Right.
And, after that game, I became a starter, and like I said, I ain't look back, man.
That's how it is, man. You get that opportunity, man. You just got to take advantage of it, man. And like you said, like most of the time, people don't think that it can happen that fast.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think that, you know, it happens and people get that opportunity. And fortunate enough for you, like you said, you was able to transition and play a different position. But what if you couldn't play safety? Your career in probably in Houston as a corner would have been over. Now you would have had to try to go and figure out how to play corner somewhere else, and that's how a lot of careers just get derailed. Luckily, and you know, good thing for you, you had the ability to move to safety, and they gave you a second chance, and you learned from that first experience, and you was ready to go, right? So that's the thing. In the league, man, you're one play, you know, you're one play from being the guy. And you might not think that, but so you go into a game on Sunday and you're the fourth corner. Okay, well, 3 of them gonna be on the field at one time at the nickel. So one of them get hurt, now you're on the field. Just like that. Like you're on the field. So it happens fast, man, and I'm sure most of the people in the league will have a similar story that, hey, I was this and that. Somebody got hurt. I had to go in. I mean, you even look at Tom Brady. Like somebody get hurt, I got to go in, and the next thing you know, you prepare, you play well, and you just never give it back because the minute you get hurt, guess what? Somebody's lurking, ready to have that same story. Hey man, GQ got hurt. You know, he couldn't play, and you know, I got opportunity, and boom, right? So that's just how it is, man. So it's crazy, man. But
That's how it happens, man. That's literally how it happens. And I knew that, you know, Dre's story is very similar in the kind of things that you guys kind of the way things happen for both of you guys is very similar, man. But I know that you kind of transitioned and you kind of started from that point on. Let's talk about, you know, when it came down to contract talks, because I've heard, you know, different conversations about your situation and, you know, you wanting to stay in Houston. But kind of talk about that when when that opportunity came and kind of how that process was for you.
Yeah, man. So I wanted to stay in Houston. Like I loved it here. I even loved Houston before I even got signed here. I used to come out here a lot as a kid, so I wanted to live here, you know, even when I was done playing. So I wanted to stay here. I felt like I had started hitting my stride. I was playing well, and it's contract time. And like I said, I understood the business at that point in time. Like I understood the business of football. I understood the contracts. I understood the numbers. And so, like I said, coming off the lockout year, we signed Jonathan Joseph, gave him like 45 mil. They signed D-Man. They gave him like 4 for 20. So they gave him like 5 a year. We had drafted Kareem. He was a first rounder. So I already knew if they were going to re-sign me, somebody was going to have to go because that was just going to be too much money tied up into the secondary, right? So I knew that. But I wanted to stay, and they were, you know, kind of dragging me along, making me feel like they were going to re-sign me, okay? So we're going through, and, you know, Rick Smith is trying to, you know, just kind of talking to me unofficially after practices, like, hey, man, we're going to try to get the deal done, this and that, yada, yada, yada. So I was just like, all right, cool, you know. So I go and play my last year, then my 4th year there. Season gets over. You know, I had a good year, and now I'm a free agent. And I didn't hear one thing from the Texans, not one. Now I heard rumors the Texans are gonna try to do this, they want to do that, but I got not one single offer from the Texans. I was hearing like, hey man, they might franchise you. And this was just not from them, but just, you know, through just different little sources. Hey man, the Texans might franchise you. Nothing. Right. So then I think I was the first year that they started doing a little opening window for free agency where, you know, teams can call you like, you know, 3 days or whatever that was in advance before free agency actually opens up. And so my agent was like, when that time opened up, you know, he got a call from, you know, the Detroit Lions early. And I was like, Detroit? Jeez, you know, I wasn't trying to go to Detroit at that time. And I'm like, Detroit? You know, and just going through that, he would told me about the teams, and he was like, you know, these teams are calling you, and he was like, but what they're saying is, in order for them to sign you, like you're like the second guy on their list, as far as like signee. They want like a O lineman, and if they can get the O lineman, then they can only offer you this much. If they don't get the O lineman, then they can offer you this much. And so it was kind of just like, all right, man, whatever. Like who want me to? But so Detroit wanted me to come out like immediately. So like they actually like once free agency opened up, because even though they were doing like the little open window, you couldn't really do anything with the team yet. So they had already told me they wanted me to come out on a visit. They already had told me like what flight they wanted to put me on, like all that good stuff. They couldn't book it until free agency started. So they had told me they was going to have me on a 5:00 flight at 3:00 Houston time. When the window opened up, boom, they sent me an itinerary like 3:05. I already had my bags packed, so I just went to the airport, and I'm flying to Detroit. And after talking with my agent, the whole time I'm flying out there was just basically to like just use it as bait to get other teams to be like, oh, okay, man, if we want to get him, we better, pick up the offers because Detroit want him. And so I'm flying to Detroit, and I had no intentions of signing in Detroit, man, honestly. And I'm out there, and really nothing that happened on my visit would have warranted me to sign. It was crazy in the hotel. It was crazy at the airport. It's crazy at the facility. Like nothing really happened for me to be like, oh yeah, I can't wait to come to Detroit. And so I'm sitting there that day, and I'm talking to my agent, and I was like, Detroit had made me an offer, and so I hit my agent up, and I told him, I was like, all right, Detroit made me an offer. He knew what the offer was. I was like, I want to stay in Houston though, bro. I was like, I got my house there, my family. Like, I want to live in Houston. I was like, hit the Texans up and tell them if they match the offer, then I'll stay. Even though it was a little less than what they had gave D-Man, because I had told him at first I can't come back making less than what D-Man was making, because I felt like I was the future. I was telling D-Man what to do on the field, and I'm sitting there like, I'm the younger guy. I'm the future. Like, I can't come back making less than D-Man. Like, I just couldn't do it. And so I told them, like, hey, let me get this right here, and I'll come back. When my agent told them that, I don't know how it happened. This is what the rumor was to me, what was told to me from my agency. Rick Smith leaked to ESPN that I had agreed to terms with the Detroit Lions. So if there's footage out there, you can see at the bottom of ESPN that it says, and I've seen it, Glover Quin has agreed to terms with the Detroit Lions. And I called my agent. I'm like, I haven't agreed to terms, right? So then it goes back across the screen. Glover Quin has not agreed to terms with the Detroit Lions. And then I'm talking to my agent and, just talking about options or whatever. And he's like, you can take the deal from Detroit. He's like, you can wait and, you may get something better. You may not. And at that point, it just kind of hit me. It was like, you know what, man, all my life, I've always been the guy that I just wanted to prove people that believe in me right. Like, people that wanted me, that's where I wanted to be. When it came to New Mexico, they wanted me. That's where I wanted to be. At the first school that tried to recruit me was Mississippi State. I was going to be a Mississippi State Bulldog if that wouldn't have happened. And so I was like, you know what, man, the Texans wanted me. I tried to give everything I had to the Texans. I said the Lions was the first team to call me when the window opened up. They flew me out here. This visit hasn't been great, but they want me. Bump it, man. I'm going to sign with the Detroit Lions. And so that's how I end up signing with Detroit. And I'm flying home, and, like, I was literally, like, crying because I was just like, oh, my gosh, man. Like, I just signed in Detroit, And I went home, man, and talked with my wife, and we made the transition, man. And honestly, man, it's probably one of the best decisions I ever made, man. Like, it was a great 6 years I had in Detroit. It was fun, but it ended up kind of being like my high school, like my college. Kind of felt like it was about fighting for respect for the Detroit Lions, man. Like, trying to make them a respectable team, a respectable organization, respectable defense, all those different things that I felt like I had been fighting for on every team that I've been on. So I felt like I was up for the task, and like I said, it was a good 6-year run. I think we've done some great things. It's headed in a different direction now, but I was kind of happy with where we were when I was there.
Yeah, bro. So I was able to stay with one team my whole career, and I think that was pretty cool, man. But how did it feel signing a big contract in a whole new city, man? Did you feel like a lot of pressure?
You know what? I did, man. I did. Because you coming in and they're bringing you in. Martin Mayhew had told me that he wanted me to come in and be, the guy to change the culture. But not only that, they had Louis Delmas, who had been a good safety for them at the time, and he wanted to get paid, and they didn't pay him. And so I'm coming in as the safety that they paid, but I didn't have a huge name in the league at the time. So they're like, who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? You didn't pay Lou, but you paid him. And so it was a lot of hate when I came in there, bro. Like, from other players. Like, when I signed, I didn't hear from nobody on the team for like 3 weeks. Nobody like hit me up, like, welcome to the squad, like nothing. It was just, I was like, wow, it was kind of crazy. But I didn't know maybe that was what it was supposed to be. I had never been through that situation. So it just kind of was weird to me, man. And I showed up on my first day, and it was still weird. Like, I was the highest paid, guy that they had that signed, but I also signed with Reggie Bush. So Reggie Bush was getting all the hype, all the, whatever. Everybody knew Reggie and this and this and that. And I was just kind of like, all right, whatever. Like, I don't care about that mess. I'm just here to play ball. You know what I'm saying? So I felt the pressure, man, to come in and try to change it. And so I had to carry a lot on my shoulder, man. I had to deal with a lot of hate, a lot of people that, didn't want, me probably to succeed. But I always show love to my teammates, man. Like, nobody can say that they felt hate for me, even though I knew, and people literally told me, man, such and such was talking about you like this, and that, such and such mad because you doing this and you getting that. And when it came down to it, I still was trying to help Buddy out, and I still was trying to do this because at the end of the day, I told him, I was like, I don't know why you guys mad at me. I didn't call Detroit and tell them to sign me. They called me and said they wanted me.
Right.
So obviously you guys are not doing something that they like. So you ain't got no reason to be mad at me. Be mad at yourself and get to work. Like, and I left it at that.
Man, I first of all, there's a couple different things that kind of stood out to me just having that conversation because, again, there's so many moving parts when you're talking about signing players and bringing guys in. That plays a factor into the process. So just like even hearing a guy named like Lewis, I played against him in high school, so he's from Miami down south. So I kind of watched him a little bit, but at the same time, one of my university alumni ended up signing with Detroit, Rasheem Mathis. So
yeah.
So I will watch you guys. I will watch, from definitely wanting to support my guys. But tell me how it felt to kind of walk in that environment to understand that it was a kind of split locker room. Things just happened in the locker room, but to come out and have the Pro Bowl season that you had and to have the success you have. Tell me a little bit about that season and kind of how that made you feel.
So the Pro Bowl year, man, it was so crazy, man. It was crazy. So my first year in Detroit, I started out on a Pro Bowl like trajectory, bro. Like, this was probably going to be my first year in Detroit. First 4 games, I already had 2 picks. I had fumble recovery, like balling in the first 2 games. So that felt great, right? To be a guy that they signed, you came in at high expectations. The first game we played, I ended that game with a pick against Minnesota. The second game we played, I had a fumble recovery against Washington. Then the fourth game we played, divisional game against Chicago, had another pick, took it back to the two divisional games, right? Minnesota and Chicago, picks, right? Big time plays. So I'm off to a crazy start, man. And in the Chicago game, bro, I literally tore my ankle like almost off the bone. I had a grade 3 tear on the inside ligament, no, on the outside ligament, grade 3 tear. So it was like flapping at each other, no ligament stability. The inside ligament had a grade 2 tear, so it was almost tore. I had torn cartilage in the front of my ankle, bone bruises. Like, man, it was awful, bro. And I played through that trash, man, for 12 games, man. Probably the worst pain that I've ever experienced, man. It was crazy. My ankle was literally the size of like a cantaloupe that next week, man. Like, well, maybe not a cantaloupe, maybe like a grapefruit. It was big. But the thing that made me play that next week is in week 5, we was playing against the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. And I've always wanted to play at Lambeau Field. And so I did so much treatment, so much everything, man, to try to get myself to play, man. And you talking about limping. Oh my gosh, it was the worst pain ever, bro. But I made it through the Green Bay game. And once I made it through that game, it was like, all right, well, I didn't sit out for that game, so I can't sit out the next game. So then it just became this whole routine of getting up super early, trying to get treatment, because I wasn't one of those guys that was like, hey, I'm going to miss meetings because I got to get treatment, or hey, I can't go to the weight room because I got treatment. It was just like, if I got to be in the weight room at 6:30, I got to be in the treatment room at 5:00. So I had to fight with the organization to get the training room to open up, because the training room didn't open up to 6:30. I'm like, well, I got 7:00 meetings, so I got to get my workout in before the meetings, and I got to get my treatment in. Y'all can't show up at 6:30. Y'all got to show up earlier. Your job is to get me ready to play. So if I'm willing to be here at 4:30, 5:00 in the morning, y'all need to have somebody here. Open up. Like, what are we doing? And like I said, those were some of the battles that I felt like I had to fight to help the organization, because I'm sitting here like, bro, it's 6:30. Like, we could have had a whole hour of treatment going by 6:30. You know what I'm saying? Meeting starting at 7:00. You want me to show up at 6:30 to get treatment? That's only 30 minutes, bro. So dealt with all that, and it changed, right? You know, they would show up early. I'm like, hey, I'm here early. I'm staying late because I'm trying to get ready to play on Sunday. Y'all need to have somebody here. And that worked out. So I was able to play through that whole season, man. That hurt it. Had surgery that off season. Come back. We changed coaches. Coach Caldwell came in, and we got new DB coaches. And, you know, they had heard good things about me. Obviously, I was super ecstatic to have Coach Caldwell and his staff. And so that offseason, bro, they literally didn't make me do any, like, I didn't do any OTAs. I didn't do any mini camp. They were just like, nah, you need to get your ankle back right. So, like, I literally would ride the bike during, you know, OTAs and workouts. I didn't do conditioning, nothing, man. It was the best thing ever, actually, like, not having to put all those miles on my body in the offseason. And the coach would always ask me, you know, DB coach, are you as good as they say? And I would just always like, man, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I ain't the type of person to talk about what I can do. Like, I'm going to go out, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to let you make that decision for yourself. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm going to let you decide, man. You know, I'm going to go out and do what I do, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You know, and that was just kind of my mentality. I was never like a brown noser. I wasn't going to your office to hang out with you so you can like me. I wasn't, you know, calling you all the time. The only thing I did do that maybe, you know, whatever, remember when I told you guys when I signed in Detroit, nobody called me to welcome me to the team, right? So when they hired Coach Caldwell and his staff, I literally called Coach Caldwell, and he didn't answer the phone. Obviously, I left a voicemail, but I just wanted to welcome him to Detroit. When we hired the DB coaches, I called them. and like just said, you know what, man, I don't know you guys, y'all don't know me. And I told him, I said, I'm not a brown nosing type guy. That's just not who I am. But I know what it feels like to go to a different place and nobody hear from you. So I'm supposed to be one of the leaders in the team. I'm going to welcome you guys to the DB room. I'm going to welcome you guys to Detroit. I'm excited to work for you guys. And I left it at that, you know what I'm saying? And still to this day, my DB coach, who I got a great relationship with now, was like, that right there, that call that you made meant a lot to him. And, you know, we just built that relationship organically through the way I worked. You know, he pushed me to be a better player. I pushed him to be a better coach. And we just built a great working relationship. And then it grew into a relationship outside of football, just families and stuff like that. But it was built organically, man. So going into that season, like I said, I was always a better player when I felt like, you know, people believed in me. You know what I'm saying? I just never wanted to let them down. You know what I'm saying? So for Coach Caldwell to believe in me, for the DB coach to believe in me, like I just didn't want to let them down. And so I came out that year, man, and it was crazy, man. I caught a pick. I think I caught a pick in the first game against the Giants on Monday night. I caught a pick. And then for the next couple of weeks, man, it was kind of quiet at the safety. And remind you, I was used to playing in the action and down in Houston. I was at the nickel. I was at the dime. Like, I was down in the action. And then my first year in Detroit was my first year not being in the action. But me and Lou was playing left and right. So there was a lot of times where I was down in the box because I was just, you know, lined up to that side. And then when I got with the next staff, I was basically just the free guy the whole time because they had signed James Ahedibo, who was a true strong safety. And so I was just stuck in the middle the whole time. And I was like, man, this right here is not – this ain't where it's at to me because I wasn't in the actions for the next couple of games. And so I talked to the coach. I was like, Coach, I got to get some action, man. You got to find a way to put me down in the box, man. And so he put me in the box for a game. I played some nickel for a game. And it was fun, you know. And then, you know, we come back I think it was week 6. We playing Minnesota. I'm playing safety, obviously. And boom, I catch a pick. So now 6 games in, I got 2 picks. Come back the next week, I catch another pick against Drew Brees, help us win the game against the Saints. So now it's week 7, I got 3. I'm like, okay. So we go to Atlanta, had another big game against Atlanta in London. Didn't catch a pick, but I had some major tackles against Julio Jones, who's probably one of the scariest guys in the league to me. But balling, right? Come back, play 2 games, no picks. Next thing you know, we got a home game. We had a 3-game home stretch. We played Chicago, I think, on Thanksgiving. Pick. We came back the next week. We played Tampa. I had a sliding one-handed pick on the sideline. So now that was 5. I was like, dang, I got 5 picks. Come back the next week playing Minnesota. I caught another pick. That was 6. I was like, oh, snap. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even asking to go down in the box no more. I'm like, bro, I can sit back out here and catch these picks, and I ain't got to keep tackling these big running backs and hurt myself. Nah, bro, you can have that. I'm standing in the deep middle because I was making plays, and then I was like, hey, this is freaking heaven to me. And so come back the next week. We playing Chicago in Chicago. Caught another pick. So I caught a pick 4 weeks in a row. Went from 3 to 7. And it was crazy, man. That's all I can say. It was crazy. You know, being able to make those plays. Like I said, I could always read the quarterbacks. I was just never really in position to make the play because I was either a dime and I'm seeing balls getting thrown deep. And I'm like, dude, we could have had a pick right there, but we weren't making the plays. So to be able to get there and make those plays, man, and then get recognized to go to the Pro Bowl, get voted in, you know, and I got my thoughts on that, you know, to get all pro, you know, it was just a huge accomplishment. It made me feel like, you know what, the way I do things, the way, you know, what I stand for, you know what, you may not get it every year, but, you know, sometimes it works out for the good guys.
Yeah, bro, that's what's up, bro. I remember that season. That was 2016. or
14.
17. No,
It was
14.
it
I
was a
think
14 season, 15 Pro
yeah.
Bowl. Yep.
No, 14. Yeah, that was my first year with the Texans. And
Yep.
you balled out. Like, bro, he was here last year. I'm like, oh, okay. That's number 29. I see him on film sometimes. I'm like, okay, that's 29. But yeah, but he balled out that year, man.
Yeah, it was
Like I
crazy.
said, you deserve that, bro. You deserve that Pro Bowl because I won the Pro Bowl one day. You know, I probably ain't played long enough, but I know that feeling though. Like I had 3 picks in 3 weeks too. I had 2 against Jacksonville. And I had like 2 more like the week after another. Like it was like you're on the road. You know, I know that feel like you're on the road, man. Like you're in that
Right.
zone, bro, and you just feel like everything coming to you. And that's like one of
Everything.
the best feelings ever, bro. And I had that feeling before, man. It's a great feeling, dog. Great feeling for sure.
Man.
So if you want to kind of, you say you had some thoughts on the Pro Bowl thing. You want to kind of talk about that, or just make mention about what you're saying?
Well, I mean, I just kind of felt like, you know, the Pro Bowl stuff was, you know, it was just obviously everybody knows, you know, political and all that good stuff. But I felt like 2017, I had probably my best season. 2014, obviously I led the league in picks, but 2017 probably was my best season overall. You know, I only had 3 picks. I had a pick 6. I had like 3 or 4 forced fumbles. But just overall season, big time plays, game changing plays, timing the plays. I thought that was probably one of my better seasons. And, you know, I was responsible for 8 turnovers that year. And I got voted the 4th Pro Bowl alternate behind like Cam Chancellor, who got love for Cam, but he only played in like 7 games that year. Right. And so kind of like what happened with Andre with the Senior Bowl happened to me with the Pro Bowl. I was a 4th alternate. They end up calling me the week of the Pro Bowl and was like, hey, such and such not coming to the Pro Bowl, you know, do you want to come? You know, the GM called me from Detroit, and was like, you know, such and such, whatever, you know, you was an alternate at the Pro Bowl. Do you want to go? They called for you. And I was just like, man, honestly, nah, I don't want to go, man. I'm just being honest with you. I was like, I felt like I should have been like a first round, like a first, you know, guy Pro Bowler that year. And you're going to make me a 4th alternate. And now you're going to call me on Monday, the week of the Pro Bowl. So now I got to like try to pack up my family, like make all these plans, the date, like to be able to leave tomorrow. Nah, bro, I ain't going out there. I'm not just jumping on somebody's like, nah, bump that. Nah, I don't want to go. So I turned it down. And that was that. And that's just kind of how I felt about the Pro Bowl. Like, I felt like it was so many different ways that they can do the Pro Bowl to make it so much better, man, in my opinion. And reward the players, you know. I'm going to tell this real quick. I was like, you know, you look at a artist, right? Musical artist. I said, it's a huge deal for those guys to be, you look at they bio, they might have on there, this guy was a 18-time Grammy nominee, right? He might have only won a Grammy one time. He may never even won a Grammy, right? But he's an 18-time Grammy nominee. What does that mean? That means 18 times somebody felt like he did something that was Grammy worthy, either a great song, a great album. He did something that was worthy of a Grammy. No, he didn't actually win the Grammy, but he did something, and that's on his resume. 18-time Grammy nominee. Even those guys, 18-time Oscar nominee. They have a big celebration for the nominations for the Oscars and the Grammys. That's what it's about, right? So I was like, why not do that for the Pro Bowl? Right? Why not have it for, you know, everybody shouldn't be on the Pro Bowl ballot, right? Like, why are people on the Pro Bowl ballot that got 6 tackles on the season? Like, what are they like? Why is that extra name just taking up space? I'm like, why not? I'm like, fans don't need 8 weeks to vote. How can somebody say they had a Pro Bowl season after 8 weeks anyway? It's only 8 weeks. I'm like, fans don't need 8 weeks to vote. I'm like, at week 12, have a nomination show. By 12 games, you should be able to see who's had a Pro Bowl caliber, who's having a Pro Bowl caliber year, right? Then play 12 games. Have a nomination show. You got writers, you got scouts, you got coaches, you got all these people that watch all these games that know football that should be able to compile a list of 10 players almost at every position to say, these guys right here, these are the nominees for your defensive backs in the NFC for the Pro Bowl. These guys are having a great season. Now the fans got 3 weeks. You get to vote for those guys. And at the end of the day, now, even though you might not get voted to the Pro Bowl, when you go to contract negotiations, guess what? Hey, man, I'm a 5-time Pro Bowl nominee. Now, I never made it in because the fans didn't put me in, but the world saw me as the people that know football saw me as somebody that's been balling for 5 seasons. So you can't hold that against me in contract negotiations and be like, oh, you never made the Pro Bowl. Nah, you know why I didn't. The fans didn't put me in, but you voted me as a Pro Bowl nominee. And that helps the players out. And it makes it more important about the game because now it's an honor just to be nominated on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not everybody make the ballot just because I've got a jersey on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It should be an honor to make the Pro Bowl. It should be an honor to do that stuff. But I told them that. They didn't want to listen to me. Man, so.
No, I definitely agree, man. I definitely understand that makes a whole lot of sense because, again, it gives you more leverage in the fact that you're being recognized by the people who really know football. You know what I mean? To be able to just give you that honor and recognition. So I agree. That definitely should be something they should implement. But I want to kind of go into a little bit. I know we've been going for a little bit, but I want to just kind of tap into to some stuff, man. So you've been fortunate enough to sign a couple nice contracts and play for a while. You know, talk a little bit about the money perspective, right? The understanding, like, you know, because I know dealing with a lot of the rookies coming in and talking with guys, a lot of times these guys have no understanding of how money works or how the money works in the NFL. So talk a little bit about maybe, you know, what you was either able to learn at some point, or even if you came in with the, you know, the great concept of understanding how and what you needed to do with your money.
You know, I didn't come in understanding and knowing everything. I just came in understanding and knowing that this is how I've been my whole life. You know, I didn't grow up with a lot. And so a lot of times you have players who don't grow up with a lot and then they get money, they feel like they got to have everything. I was the type of person that was like, I've never had that stuff, so I don't really need it now. Like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I don't need 5 cars. I need 1 car. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't drive all 5 of them at one time. You know, let me get me a vehicle that I can have. My wife get a vehicle, and we're good. You know, and so that's just kind of how I was. And like, you know, when I was younger, I used to ask my dad for money all the time, and then I ended up getting a job. And then I quit the job because they wasn't paying me enough money that I felt like they was working me way too hard for what they was paying me. And I was just like, this is not what it's supposed to be like. And so I put in my 2 weeks notice, like, I'm going to go do something else. Found a different job. They was paying me better. So it's cool. I went out to college. And when I got to college, I couldn't work. So I was asking my dad for money, right? So my dad would give me money. And when I say money, it's like, you know, $30 a week. But for me, I wasn't spending the money, you know what I'm saying? So it was adding up. And so then when I went to New Mexico, I told myself, I'm like, you know what, man, I need to learn how to like manage my own money. You know, I need to learn how to do all this stuff. So I'm gonna stop asking my dad for money. I'm getting my little scholarship check. You know, I'm gonna find me a job out here, and I'm gonna stop asking my dad for money. So that's what I did. I stopped. You know, and I had one summer out there. I was dead broke, man. I had no money. You know, I didn't get my scholarship check that summer because something happened with one of my classes. So I was like literally dead broke, man. Like even like in the negative. And you know, I was able to figure out a way to get out of it. The next summer I got my job back and, you know, I worked a little bit, but I didn't want to ask my dad for money. I wanted to figure it out. And so I'm out in college, bro. I was riding a bike to school because I didn't have gas money. You know what I'm saying? I was eating the freaking snacks that they would give us at football after practice. I would take a lot of the snacks just to put in my backpack so I would have stuff to eat throughout the day because we only got one meal for training table. So that was the only meal that I was eating. So the rest of the time I'm having to eat my little snacks, or I would like have $1 or something and go to like Wendy's and get, a junior bacon cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to figure it out and not wanting to call and ask somebody for help. And so when I got to the league, man, it was crazy, man. That helped me a lot, and even after I got drafted, being home, I told you I was home for 3 weeks after I got drafted. So being home for 3 weeks and being in the NFL, but still being broke, like I didn't have any money, right? But everybody thinks you got money now because you've got drafted. They think you got drafted and you all of a sudden are a millionaire now. And I'm just like, nah, bro, I'm broke. Like I ain't got a dime to my name right now. Like I'm still at home. And so when I came out here to Houston, when I signed I did everything direct deposit. I was like, I don't even want to like touch a check. Like everything was direct deposit. So when I signed my contract, I went back to New Mexico, brought my wife back. We ended up getting married. My signing bonus hit. I woke up one morning, I looked at it right before practice, training camp. I wake up, I look at my bank account before I even got out the bed because I knew what day it was supposed to hit. I wake up, first thing I did, grab my phone, go to my banking app, open up, it was there. I was like, wow. It was like $252K. And I was like, wow. But what's crazy is I was more like thinking about the amount of taxes that they took out because I'm like, bro, they took out more money in this one check than my parents make in like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, they took out, it was my signing bonus was $490 and they cashed $252. So I'm like, these cats took out almost 140 racks. Like, you know how long it take my mom and them to make $140,000? They took that out in one check. That was kind of like my thought process. I wasn't even worried about the 250, but like I said, I went to work and I left all that in the bank. I didn't even mess with it. Like, put half of it up and, I bought a house out here and I was just kind of like that guy. I was like, I'm going to trade my 20s in. I'm going to grind because I knew I only wanted to play 10 years. That's all I wanted to play ever because I knew I wanted to have a life after. I wanted my kids. I wanted that stuff. And I wanted to, be able to do whatever it is I wanted to do when I was done. So I was like, I got to save as much money as I can, make as much money as I can, and get out of here, man. And so that's what I did, man. We saved, we live a good life, but it's a modest life, and when I signed in Detroit, it was still like, wow, we just signed a good contract. Now it's really time to save. We lived a little better, but it was still like, okay, this is what we're doing. We invested, did some things like that. And when my 10 years came, I was like, I'm ready. Like, we're good. Money-wise, we're good. We built a house at the right time. Like, we're good. Our lifestyle that we've built, we're good. I have no reasons to stick around. I didn't want to be one of those guys that feel like I got to play an extra 3 or 4 years just because I blew so much money in my first 3 or 4 years, and I'm trying to make that money back up. So it was good for me, man. I have no regrets walking away and the way I lived in my 20s, the sacrifices that I made, because now I'm 34, man, and I get to enjoy my life, do whatever it is I want to do, and it's cool.
Man, I commend you on that. And it's crazy. Like I said, man, you and Dre have so much similarities, and I'll let him speak to that. But just being in the league and seeing so many guys come in, right, and, step into this type of money that, like you said, coming from college, they wasn't having money. They come from family that didn't have money, but then they come to the league and then they have to live up to the expectations or the facade that a lot of guys put out there. Now, understanding that you may be in the locker room with a guy that's the highest paid player on the team, or maybe one of the top highest players in the league, you're trying to compete with him as a rookie. You know what I mean? Like, you got a rookie contract. Like you said, the signing bonus, half of that is gone, right? They took half of it already from, with taxes. So now you done bought a Lamborghini, or you done bought a $150,000 car. You done bought your mom a house. Your rookie salary is $450. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be playing catch up for the rest of the year. You know what I mean? Like, you got And I think a lot of guys come in the league and they're not prepared for that. They don't have an understanding about that. So then before you know it, like you said, they got to continue to play because they got to make up that money they spent. And Dre, like I said, Dre had a similar story, just how long he wanted to play, and just kind of speak to that, Dre. Speak about that.
Yeah, so I see why you are how you are because of your college experience, how you was broke. You know what I mean? I went through the same thing. My college, Vanderbilt, they cared about football, but they didn't even care about football. So, like, they didn't give it, like, we didn't get no scholarship check. We didn't get none of that stuff. We got, like, I stayed on campus one summer my sophomore year, and that 2 months taught me so much because I was broke. And we had to work. I had to work. I had to go to class, had to work out, and I had to feed myself.
Right.
And pay my bills. So all my bills, all my little work money went to my bill. So I'm like, dang, I don't have no money to eat. So we'll put the money together and go get Church's chicken, like a $9.99 special every night. I'm like, bro, I can't live like this. I cannot live like this. So that's why I had to like really grow up. I grew up so much in college, and when I got to the league, I already knew what was up. I said, man, I'm telling no to my mama. I'm telling no to my sisters. I'm telling no to my daddy because I know what this money gonna do. I know what this money gonna do. I know how much it's gonna take out of my taxes. Like, you know what I mean? You don't learn that growing up. You don't learn nothing about money growing up. And like, that's probably the most saddest thing ever. Like, kids should learn about money in the first place.
No
like so you can be, so you can live in this life. This world is crazy. And they teach us the wrong stuff. So learning that in college actually got me ready for the NFL. So when I did get my big payday, I was like, you know what? I'm buying me a house. I don't need three. Like I said, I don't need 3 cars. Like, I'm by myself.
Right.
I don't need all that. Like, I'm good. But you don't understand that if you like been baby all your life. If you go to LSU, you go to Alabama, these guys be getting money all their life. So they're like, okay, well, this is another check I'm getting. I'm just gonna spend it. And they don't understand the process of making money and spending money the right way. And I kind of like I figured out that in college. Like, I learned in college how to use my money, how to save my money. And I'm so thankful for it because I was able to retire after 5 years. Like, I was like, I don't want to play no more. I don't got to keep, like you said, you don't keep on playing. You want to keep on going out there hitting people all the time. Like, I want to live my life. I want to spend time with my kids. You was able to do that shit. Like, a lot of guys can't do that. A lot of guys can't sit back and like, okay, I'm going to stop playing. I want to stop playing because they spend so much money. And like, I got to keep on playing to get money back. And then it's a mindset, man. If your mindset kind of jacked up in the first place, you're never going to get right. You got to change how you think about money, man. And that's what a lot of guys don't do. They don't change their mindset about money. They kind of have the same mindset they had since they were like kids. Like, oh, it's all gonna go. It's all gonna go. It's like, nah, man, just kind of like change your mindset about how you think about money, and you're gonna be great. But you don't kind of think we don't get taught that, man. And it's kind of sad that all these guys, they just lose a lot of money, man. It's like, come on, y'all gotta learn, man. When ain't gonna be time for y'all to learn? And I used to kind of try to preach to people every now and then, but you can't really preach to people. Everybody got kind of get on their own. You know what I mean? And once you get on your own, then you be okay. But a lot of guys don't want to kind of get it. Because they don't want to put the work in. Because it takes work to kind of get that. Like, it takes you work to kind of to get
no question, man.
You gotta do a lot of work on yourself, on your mental self. You gotta do it to yourself. But if you're not trying to get better mentally, like, that's what I'm talking about in football. Football don't really prepare you for life. It prepare you to play football. That's it. Like, football just prepare you to play football. That's all you think about is the league. Okay, I gotta make this next check. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta make this. I gotta make sure I know the playbook. I gotta make sure I know, my checks. You don't learn about life playing football, and that's all we did all our life since we was 8 years old. So if you don't ever get like the teaching that you need to get, you'll never become a man. Basically, you'll be a kid all your life, and that's what happened to a lot of guys. They be kids all their life until they leave the league. It's like, what's next? Like, what I'm gonna do next? Because you never learn. Nobody ever kind of put you in a situation where you had to learn. And we learned in college from being broke, from struggling. And a lot of guys don't go through that. A lot of guys been getting babied all their life, and then bam, what I'm gonna do now? Football over with. And that's why I think the league should probably do more. They say they do more, but they really don't because it's hard to, man. You playing football, man. You're trying to make the team. You're not worrying about how you going to spend this money. That's why a lot of guys get financial advisors, and then that's kind of bad, too. If you get the wrong one, that's not going to teach you how to manage your money. And that's what happened to a lot of guys, bro. And I feel sorry for those guys because they can actually learn. Like, it's not that much to learn. Like, pay your own bills, and then you learn through doing it. You know what I mean? But a lot of guys don't want to put themselves through that. And that's probably the worst thing that's going on right now in the league.
Oh, yeah, man. And so many guys, man, they don't understand money, man. Like, I tell people all the time, people sign just to keep the number simple. People sign a $10 million contract and they start making $10 million decisions.
Yeah.
You can't make $10 million decisions when you sign a $10 million contract. You're not going to see $10 million. You know what I'm saying? And you look at some of these guys that sign those bigger deals, And people don't understand the levels of being broke, right? A lot of people feel like being broke is like no money. I tell people all the time, if you sign, you look at some of these guys, they sign $100 million deal, right? They might get 55, 60 guaranteed. It's a lot of money, right? I said, but if you sign $100 million deal and you start making $100 million decisions, you get 60 to sign, but you don't play great, right? So after your third year of that deal, they release you.
Mm-hmm.
So now you only made 60. You thought you was gonna make 100, right? But then they taxed that 60, right? So now you only seen 30. You was making $100 million decisions, but you only seen 30. 30 million can't keep up the lifestyle of 100 million. So now you're not playing and you still got all this stuff going on. And people don't realize if you were making $100 million decisions and now you only have 10, 15 mil, you broke, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you broke. And people like, no, you still got 15 mil. Yeah, bro, but 15 mil can't cover these 100 mil. The dude got 4 houses. He's paying, $200,000 a month in mortgage payments, if not more. He got 3 cars at every house. He got a house in Miami. He got Lamborghinis. He got a house in LA. He bought his mama a crib. Like, his lifestyle, he's spending this much money every single month. That 15 mil gonna be gone in 3 years, bro. He broke right now. He finna start having to sell stuff. He gotta try to figure out a way to do stuff because 15 mil cannot cover the decision that you made when you was thinking about 100 mil. That's why I don't like NFL contracts. I kind of feel like if you're gonna sign me to a 3-year, $100 million deal, but you're only gonna give me 5-year, 100 mil, but you're gonna give me 60 guaranteed in the first 3, and then you're gonna make decisions on whether you want to keep me on the roster or not. Just give me a 3-year, $60 million deal, and we'll talk about it after that. Now I'm gonna make $60 million decisions. Well, it really should be 30 million, but now I know I signed for 60. I'm gonna make my 60 and then we'll have to retalk. It's not I signed for 60, but I really only made 22, and then after taxes, I only got 12. Like, that's a totally different ball game, man. That's totally different numbers than what the public sees and that what most people think, because nobody expects to get hurt after year 2, and you only made 22 mil, and then taxes hit you for 12, and then you got to pay your agent, you got to pay your fine. Like, that money gone, bro, and now you broke.
Absolutely. I agree. I've been saying that for a while now. Just do the 3-year, like you see the quarterbacks are doing it now, 3-year fully guaranteed deals.
Yeah.
I mean, the illusion of 100 million, like you said, it makes guys think, yeah, now I'm about to get this 100 million. But I think, again, I can talk about this for days because it's all about the programming. So you get these guys coming in as rookies and teach them really, even limit the money that they have access to, and it teaches them how to kind of really budget and understand. Because again, it ain't guaranteed. So even your rookie deal ain't guaranteed. You know what I mean? You can pay 2 years and injury now, but you live in a life like that. So it's really just trying to really program and teach these guys. And like Dre said, I don't think the league ain't really interested in really teaching us like that, teaching guys like that, because they want you to play. You're here to play. They want you to focus on football. They make it sometimes be a problem if your focus not 100% on football. They look at it in a negative way.
See, this is what I'm gonna say about that, and this is my true feelings. And I'm definitely not, pro NFL. Like, I feel like they are who they are. But I will say this right here. I do feel like they have programs and stuff in place. I think the problem is people are only gonna change when they want to do it. Like, they got all these programs and people just don't want to do it. Now, the NFL, they're going to advertise some, this and that. But the ones that really want to learn how to manage their money, the ones that really want to learn how to budget, the ones that really want to learn the playbook, those are going to be the ones that enter those programs, and they're going to learn. The ones who really don't want to learn, like Andre was saying, sometimes people just got to go through things, right? So those are the guys that if you try to talk to them, they still gonna do what they want to do. The NFL can come talk till they blue in the face about all the programs. They ain't gonna sign up. They're gonna do whatever they want to do because they feel like they know it. And then when they fall flat on their face, then they're gonna try to figure out what's going on and be like, man, the league, man, they ain't had these. No, they did. Like, I remember, like, when I was coming out, when I came out, we had a rookie symposium. I remember going to the rookie symposium and I learned a ton of stuff. I had a great time at the symposium, but there was so many guys that I was there with and that I saw that was like, man, what are we doing here, man? It's awful, bro. Like, they sneaking out. They trying to leave the sessions, not want to be there. And then when I look at some of those same guys now are the guys that didn't have good long careers because of that stuff. Didn't want to dedicate themselves, didn't want to put in the work that it takes to be great on the field. And so in doing that, to me, you got to put in the work to be great on the field, but you got to have that same pride to want to be great off the field and put in the time. What you want to be good at is where you're going to put your time at. And if you want to understand finances, you will. And you will reach out to people, seek help. If you don't, if you just want to live it up, that's what you're going to do, man. And I truly feel like that's what the NFL knows that. They know that. So they have these programs and they, like I said, they don't really advertise a lot of them. But the ones that really want to know, they go to the NFL or they go to the PA to find out, hey, what programs do we have? What can I get in? What can I do? Who can I talk to? Those and it's only a select few guys. A lot of guys don't do that, but a lot of guys in the league that are making a lot of the money are black guys that are great, talented people that didn't come from financial background, and they're happy to have a lot of money right now. They're taking care of a lot of people, and they're just not interested in learning that stuff, and they feel like they're going to play forever. The money's going to keep coming in, and unfortunately, it doesn't.
Yeah. Right. And like I said, you're absolutely right. I think once they start to make being smart with your money cool, it's gonna continue to kind of fly under the radar. So I know we've been going for a minute, and I appreciate you definitely jumping on. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, what's your plans kind of post career, and if people are looking for you, where they can find you and things like that?
Man, what I'm doing now, man, is like I said, man, I played the way I played so I can do whatever it is I want to do, man. And so that's what I'm doing now. I started out in videography, doing some stuff, learning videography last year, because my kids play baseball, and I generally do, I record all their games and stuff and put them in little highlight films together. And when I retired, I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna do this, I want to be good at it. So I don't want to be, I want to know how to make the films and do it right. So I got into videography, taking classes, learning it, and I just fell in love with the camera, man. I just fell in love with the production of it. And, I fell in love with learning. There was so much information that I just didn't know, like just learning everything. And, I spent a lot of time on YouTube doing that. And so in doing that, um, I kind of just started telling stories, and I started out on my IG because I was just like, I got some cool stories that happened in my life that I just want to tell people. And you know what? I'm gonna record it myself, and I'm just gonna put it on my IG. And so I started out telling the story, and this happened over Corona. This time, it was during the COVID. And I just told a story about how I met Lil Wayne when I was in, a sophomore in high school. I didn't really meet him, but I was walking right next to him taking pictures. He didn't say anything back to me, but I met Lil Wayne, right? So I told that story on IG, and it was cool, right? Got a good reaction. So, and the people was asking for more because I had a lesson. I had like a little lesson behind it, right? So then I told a story the next week about how I caught a pick six against Matt Ryan, and I told the story behind it, which was so much deeper than the play, but what all went into the play, and it had another message behind it. And it got over 11,000 views on IG. So I was like, okay. And everybody was just asking hey man, dude, that was dope. We need more of this stuff. I was like, okay. So then I told another story about when I had 3 picks in one game and when I was with the Texans, right? The things that I went through leading up to that game. And then the game that I had, I caught 3 picks. I had a broken hand playing with a cast on, and I caught 3 picks in one game. And like I said, the reactions were still good, but I kind of got to to the point where I was like, you know what, man, I'm putting this stuff on Instagram, and I don't know if people really go to Instagram for like a lot of this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, people go to YouTube. I was thinking about myself. I go to YouTube to learn, to look at longer videos. If I go to YouTube, on Instagram, it's hard to get people to click on that button to say keep watching, for Apple TV, for IGTV show. They'll look at the first minute, and then after that, it's kind of like, all right, I'm going to the next. I'm just scrolling, right? So I was like, you know what, man, I'm just going to start telling my stories and like just direct everything to YouTube. I'm going to start my YouTube channel. And at first I was just going to tell stories. And I was like, you know what, man, people are asking for play breakdown and film and this and that. I said, I'm just going to start like a channel where I just kind of talk football, teach football, talk about different experiences that I dealt with, things that I've learned, have friends, people that I know come on, do like live shows and just shoot the breeze and talk it up. And I was like, I'm going to create the DB room, because every team I ever played on, the DBs always had the coolest room. You're just the coolest guys on the team. Everybody want to hang with the DBs, And I was like, we would have guest speakers that come in, do all types of stuff, talk about life, everything, right? So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to create the DB room and put it on YouTube. That's going to be my channel, and I'm going to teach football, tell stories, have cool people come in, go out, see some of my friends that's still playing ball, see how they working out, talk through technique, what they doing, because football is America's favorite sport. So everybody's want to know how to play. You know what I'm saying? I look on YouTube and I see some guys making videos, and I'm like, first of all, who are these people that are making these videos? Second of all, the camera and the quality level is low, but they like getting 900,000 views. I'm like, they're looking at this guy tell them how to play cover 3. Like, who is this guy? I was like, if I could be a respectable player that played a long time, and try to make high quality videos, why wouldn't, people love watching football. They love to learn. So that's what I do now, man. I just go in there and I, talk through coverage, try to teach people the language of football so that they know what they're looking at and they know what people talk about when they say, hey, we was in cover 2 and this guy ran a post route. Like, a lot of people don't know what that is. You know what I'm saying? They think they know, but they don't really know. Like Dre was talking earlier. I was in quarters and, Dre was running the running the post route, and I'm just saying, stay on top, stay on top. Like, what does that mean? Yeah, I know what that means, but the average American probably don't know what that means. So I try to tell them what that means so that when they watch the game or when they hear other people's stories, they have a better understanding of it, man. So it's been fun for me. And like I said, I just sit here in my office and I just make videos, man. That's it.
And the name of the show is DB Room. The DB Room.
Yeah, just the DB Room. I just, I don't even have, a name of like my show right now. I just the whole channel is called like the DB Room. So I tell people, meet me in the DB Room. So they come to my YouTube channel, they leave comments. I respond to everybody. I talk. I don't know, man. And then like when I get ready to have a live guest on, so like, I have like, I put out posts and be like, such and such is going to be in the DB Room this week, come through. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of have fun with it, man. So that's what I do right now, man. That's it. Go to baseball games with my kids, spend all day at the baseball field and make videos and sit at the house.
Good deal, man. I know you'll be successful with that, like you did, like you was with everything else. But that's pretty much what I have. Dre, want to close out with anything, Dre?
Man, just thank you, bro. Like this helped me. You know what I mean? I'm learning from you too. Like I did this podcast too, cause like I want to learn too. I love, like you say, I love learning now, bro. Like I read so many books, man. I'm on YouTube all the time. I'm doing stuff to kind of enhance myself, cause I know I need to. Like I think if you ever stop learning, you pretty much dead. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because stuff always going on. You know what I mean? Stuff always constantly moving. So if you're not constantly trying to grow and learn, you're gonna be left behind.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you doing this, bro. This is big time, man. Thank you, bro.
Man, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. This is dope, man. I like it. I like talking, man. Like I said, that's one reason why I started my channel, to inspire people, to motivate people, let people know what stuff is really like, to tell them, we got a lot of athletes coming up, man. A lot of young people that love YouTube. My kids love YouTube. So I'm like, man, how do we reach these people? They're not sitting down watching direct TV. They got their phones in their hand. They're watching YouTube. So put the information out there, man. Like, and a lot of guys probably don't want to read a book. they should. They used to tell us, you know what I'm saying, if you want to keep information from a black man, put it in a book, right?
Mhm.
They ain't going to read it. They got their phones in their hand. Everybody's on YouTube. Put the information. Tell them how to do this, how to get better, how to be smart. Tell them different situations. Hopefully they see it, man, and you know how it is, man. If you can inspire one, you know what I'm saying, you did your job, man. So keep doing it, man. Keep doing your thing, man. It's cool what y'all doing, man. People got a lot of great stories, man. It's a lot of great guys out there telling, that went through a lot, man. And everybody can learn from something, man. So it's pretty cool, man. Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, man. There you have it. Thanks again. We have Glover Quin. Thanks for watching. See you soon.